Coming up on Falcon Weekly, a 5-year-old is dead after a bus accident in Macon County. Hear what authorities are saying about the incident.
And the South is soaked. We're getting a lot of rain here on campus. See how the remnants of Hurricane Patricia are impacting coastal states.
Coming up, see how Team sank or swam at the annual Anchor Splash.
Eating right is not always easy in a world full of fast food. I'm Zach Ivey, and coming up, we will look at some of the healthy options right here on campus.
And overdue, this North Alabama man just returned a library book he checked out back in the 1950s. Find out how much the librarian said his fine would be. Falcon Weekly starts now.
Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Laura Poitras.
And I'm Brittany Williams. Thanks so much for joining us. First this week, the deadline to drop classes for this semester is here.
You have until 11:59 Monday night to withdraw from a class. You can drop a class through Banner.
Now, if you're watching us on Tuesday or later in the week, it's too late to drop. So all we can say is good luck for the rest of the semester.
It's the time of year to pick out classes for next semester. Advising is underway right now for the spring and summer 2016 terms. So be sure to meet with your advisor so they can put in your registration pin. Remember, registration begins next week. Graduate students can sign up for classes November 2nd, seniors start on the 4th, with juniors following on the 6th, sophomores registration opens on the 10th of next week, and freshmen start signing up for classes on the 12th. Registration opens for each class at 7 a.m. on those days. Your class designation is based off of credit hours you've already earned, which doesn't include courses that you're in this semester.
We saw a lot of rain on campus today. Falcon Weekly weather reporter Matt Haskins shot this video earlier this afternoon. A lot of this rain is from the remnants of Hurricane Patricia, which hit the west coast of Mexico over the weekend. Now what's left of the historic storm is soaking much of the southeast. See how this rain will impact our weather for the rest of the week coming up later in the weather. Last week, dozens of students got drenched at this year's Anchor Splash event. Falcon Weekly's Heather Sugg is live in the studio with a recap of all the action. Haley?
Thanks, Brittany. The Delta Gamma Anchor Splash is a lot of fun for the participants, but the teams not only swam and danced, they also raised some serious money for charity. On October 22nd, members of UM's fraternities and sororities packed into the Student Activity Center pool for this year's Delta Gamma Anchor Splash. Teams competed in a variety of activities, including synchronized swimming and relays. From the wet t-shirt relay to Save the Mermaid, where swimmers raced while pulling and pushing a sorority sister on a float. The team showed off their strength and stamina in the water. The Anchor Splash isn't always about shark-like speed. It also gives each team a chance to show their style. Pairing costumes and props with their most graceful moves, each team was doing their best to impress. Lambda Chi's animal-themed show and Chi Omega's patriotic performance won the synchronized swimming portion of the competition. But these points weren't enough to keep their hopes of an overall win afloat. When relay race points were added, the brothers of AKL and the sisters of Phi Mu sailed past their rivals to prove that they were the rulers of the water. But being named the winner isn't why the teams plunged into the pool.
Anchor Splash is Delta Gamma's philanthropy event that benefits service for SOP.
Event director Casey Sanders says Delta Gamma raised nearly $1,000 for the nonprofit thanks to this year's event. Along with the team competition, there was also the Mr. and Mrs. Anchor Splash contest. The winners were Michael Cleary and Aaron Foster. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Haley Sugg.
Thanks, Haley. Montevallo is busy with a variety of activities this week. Tuesday, the UPC is hosting its annual haunted attraction in Bibb Graves. The mystery event will be held from 6 to 10 p.m.
On Thursday, the Department of Communication is hosting its annual Comms Day celebration. Come hear a variety of speakers and learn more about the Communication Studies major. Comms Day also doubles as an AIM event. Then, for some spooky fun, the Montevallo Art Stalk will be held on Halloween Day from 2 to 6 p.m. The event will feature a costume contest for all ages. 60 different local art vendors, and several types of musical entertainment.
Later in the evening, the Alabama newspaper will be giving a free campus ghost tour. The tour will begin at 6 p.m. and meet in the lot across from Barnes & Noble's. Turning to state news, a 5-year-old boy died this morning in Macon County while getting on the school bus.
Besiah Hedges was boarding the bus with his siblings on their way to Carver Elementary School when he dropped his books. The driver didn't see him and him run just 50 yards from the front door. State troopers say the death appears to be accidental and don't expect to file any charges. In North Alabama, a Madison police officer is on trial for a second time. The 27-year-old Eric Parker is again being charged with abusing the rights of an Indian man during a police encounter. The original case ended with a mistrial due to a hung jury. Police video shows Parker knocking the legs out from under Sureshbhai Patel, a 58-year-old grandfather visiting his family in Madison. Parker says Patel resisted arrest and that he didn't mean to hurt the man. Patel has suffered partial paralysis and other issues since the police encounter. We've all forgotten to return a library book on time, but one North Alabama man just returned a book he checked out way back in 1952.
Bobby Rice checked out this copy of Lydia Bailey from the Marshall County High School Library back then, but he didn't realize he still had it until earlier this month, meaning the book was 63 years overdue. The school librarian says the fine for a book out that long is about $1,500, but lucky for Rice, she's agreed to waive it.
You know, if it's in good condition, I'll take it back. Absolutely, no matter the time length.
And I just kidded with her. I said, I'm just a slow reader.
The librarian says the book is in pretty good shape, so she's thinking about putting it back in circulation. She says she just hopes the next person to check it out doesn't keep it for 63 years.
The University of Mississippi has removed the state flag from campus. The move comes just days after student senators voted to have the flag taken down because it features the Confederate battle emblem.
University police lowered the flag as campus opened this morning. The flag will be placed in the university's archives along with resolutions calling for its removal.
More Confederate protests at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The school saw competing demonstrations on Sunday. They centered around a statue dubbed Silent Sam. The monument was erected in 1913 to honor UNC students who fought for the Confederacy during the Civil War. Two groups that support the flying of the Confederate flag rallied around the statue Sunday afternoon, saying they were honoring their heritage. But some came out to protest the statue and the group's presence on campus, saying it is offensive.
A woman is being charged with murder after driving into a crowd during an Oklahoma State homecoming parade over the weekend.
25-year-old Adacia Chambers is being charged with 4 counts of second-degree murder and driving under the influence. Her attorney claims she wasn't drinking or drunk when she plowed her car into the crowd of onlookers. Her lawyer says she may suffer from mental health issues, and Chambers' family's thoughts and prayers go out to the victims.
Nashville police released surveillance camera video of last week's deadly shooting on the campus of Tennessee State University. The video shows a group of young men and what appeared to be muzzle flashes as gunshots are fired. Police are offering a $6,000 reward for tips leading to the capture of the suspected gunmen, who are not TSU students. Thursday's shooting left 1 student dead and 2 students wounded. Police say it started after an apparent dispute over a dice game.
Now to Florida, where hunters killed almost 300 bears as part of a statewide bear hunt over the weekend.
The hunt began Saturday morning and ended Sunday night, bringing out both hunters and protesters. The state's wildlife officials say hunting is the only way they have to reduce the black bear population, which is estimated to be around 3,500. The hunting season was originally slated to last 7 days, but statewide officials ended it early because hunters had come close to the 320 bear quota set by the state.
In other news, a lot more Americans are smoking pot than they were a decade ago. According to a new study, 9.1% of adults in the U.S. admit to using marijuana within the last year, up from the 4.1% of Americans in 2001. This increase is attributed to the shifting attitudes toward pot in the U.S. 23 states now allow the use of marijuana for medical reasons, and 4 states allow recreational use of pot.
Police officers in Atlanta apparently followed their nose to make a marijuana arrest last week. Thomas Edwin Deaton was pulled over and arrested when officers driving on a neighborhood street said they smelled a strong odor of raw marijuana coming from a vehicle traveling next to them. Police said they found 3 large marijuana plants inside the car, one of which was over 6 feet tall. Deaton was charged with marijuana possession and attempting to flee a police officer. He has since been released on bond from the Fulton County Jail.
Turning to world news, at least 180 people are dead after a powerful earthquake in Afghanistan early Monday. 12 schoolgirls died when they were trampled as people ran for safety. Hundreds of other people are injured. The 7.5 magnitude quake were also felt in India, Pakistan, and Tajikistan.
At least 5 people are dead after a whale-watching boat capsized off of Canada's west coast Sunday. 27 passengers were on board when the ship sank just off the coast of Tofino, British Columbia. 21 have been rescued and 1 is still missing. The company that owns the tour boat says they are doing everything they can to assist their passengers and staff during this difficult time. There is no word yet on what caused the boat to sink. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada is investigating. Airstrikes have destroyed the ISIS prison where U.S., Iraq, and Kurdish forces rescued hostages held by the militant group.
This video shows the prison's destruction. U.S. officials say around 70 hostages were freed. Video of their rescue was released last week. A member of the Army's elite Delta Force was killed during the operation. He was the first American to die in combat in Iraq in 4 years, and his death is raising questions about U.S. involvement against ISIS. Fishermen in the Aegean Sea rescued an 18-month-old baby they found floating in the water. Baby Mohammed was on a migrant boat from Turkey to Greece with around 30 migrants, including his family, when the boat capsized. The fishermen were able to rescue 15 other people from the capsized boat after finding the baby. The Turkish Coast Guard is searching for the remaining missing migrants.
Family reunions that were decades in the making took place in North Korea last week. 100 South Koreans were granted the rare opportunity to cross the border and visit their families after being separated for decades by war. Tens of thousands of South Koreans have applied for these rare reunions since the program began in 1988. This is part of the agreement reached during high-profile talks in August after an increase in hostilities. These reunions were bittersweet because many of the participants were in their 80s and 90s and know this was likely their last time they would see their loved ones.
Remember, there's more news online 24/7. Just search for UM Falcon Weekly on Facebook and Twitter to see more stories and news updates throughout the week.
Coming up, find out why students are getting fired up for Bernie Sanders.
Also, see how you can help trick-or-treaters with food allergies this Halloween.
And a breakfast staple gets a new twist. Find out the 5 new flavors for Pop-Tarts hitting shelves in the next year. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you, wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly.
Here's a look at how the race for the White House is shaping up by the numbers. According to the latest Monmouth poll, in Iowa, Ben Carson takes the lead with 32%. Donald Trump is behind at 18%, and Marco Rubio comes in third at 10%. Meanwhile, for the Democrats, the latest CBS poll for Iowa says Hillary Clinton leads the pack with 46%. Bernie Sanders is at 43%, while Martin O'Malley is at 3%.
With Vice President Joe Biden's announcement last week that he will not be running for president and low polling candidate Chafee dropping out of the race, the focus continues to be on Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And here at UM, many students are rallying behind Sanders. Falcon Weekly's Elijah McEwen shows us why they say they are feeling the burn.
The presidential primaries have students of the University of Montevallo deeply involved in the upcoming election. While there are several candidates from both parties with large campus followings, it's hard to deny the fact that Montevallo has been flooded with support for an unlikely candidate, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders is the type of candidate, that young people are so excited about.
So why is Bernie Sanders gaining such a big following in college students?
For one of his plans is free public college. That makes a huge impact on students like us who usually graduate with at least $20,000 to $30,000 in debt.
The way he speaks about the issues he cares about is very relatable for like our generation and how we kind of rush into things with such passion.
So he's a good politician, but he's also like very clearly a real human being and not like a political puppet.
Student Daniel Dariso has brought Senator Sanders' campaign to Montevallo's campus with the help of Alabama for Sanders and a few hundred bumper stickers.
And I started organizing events, and I started trying to accumulate merchandise and spreading the word in general about Bernie. And then I set up Montevallo for Bernie in May, and it was basically meant to be a social media like congregate.
Daniel has already organized several events, including a voter registration sign-up and the largest debate-watching party in Alabama in support of Senator Sanders.
He has reached out to the campaign and has done things, that most people just wouldn't think could be done in the state.
Daniel also organized a meetup with the Burn Machine, a Tesla driven across the country by Paul Lasso in support for Senator Sanders' campaign.
And when he came, he was so impressed with Daniel because Daniel was able to organize an event that had like almost 30 people at it within like 12 hours. He said that the Montevallo stop was one of his favorite stops simply because of like how quickly it was organized and how passionate the people were.
However, with Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton neck and neck with Senator Sanders, current College Democrats President Quincy Hall says he will support whomever wins the primary.
I think that Tuesday night's debate showed us that it's amazing to be a Democrat, and we should be proud to be Democrats because our party, even though we have differences of opinion, we still will unite together and, support our nominee.
But that doesn't stop Daniel.
I'm feeling the burn.
Reporting for Falcon Weekly, I'm Eli McCutcheon.
And while we're talking about Bernie Sanders, meet Babies for Bernie. The hashtag is lighting up with social media universe with these pics of tykes doing their best Bernie impressions in support of the Democratic candidate. Some are costumes, some are photoshopped, but all are adorable / kind of creepy. Now it's time for a look at health headlines.
Falcon Weekly's Elizabeth Reinhart joins us live in the studio with the latest. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Laura. The University of Montevallo campus offers students, faculty, and staff a wide variety of dining options, but with all those choices, it can still be difficult to always pick healthy meals. Reporter Zach Ivey gives us some food for thought.
For Moe's Southwest Grill, burritos are big business.
And they do mainly Joey's, and Joey's are big burrito and Homewreckers are burrito with guacamole.
And if you put every topping Moe's offers on the Homewrecker, you'll be eating roughly 1,800 calories in one sitting, and that is sure to wreck your diet.
For me, it's a lot harder to eat healthier while I'm here at college.
And it doesn't take a genius to see that calories can quickly add up at Einstein Bagel Brothers, too. According to the CDC, 69% of Americans over the age of 20 are overweight or obese. And those expanding waistlines have culinary experts like executive chef Jason Quarles and his staff making sure Montevallo students have access to healthy food options.
Most of our vegetables that we cook are steamed or roasted. We don't do very much fried food. And you'll see a lot more baked and braised and a lot more uses of vegetables like kale and fresh Brussels sprouts and things like that.
But vegetables aren't the only healthy option on the table.
We've always got fruit available. We keep fruit at different locations in the caf, and we've also got fruit usually on our salad and yogurt bar.
Not everybody wants fruit and vegetables for every single meal. When you're craving that pepperoni pizza in the dining hall, all you really have to do is take a napkin, dab the top, and that will remove almost 4.5 grams of fat per slice. It's not much, but it does make a difference. For multitasking on-the-go students, grabbing a quick bite to eat is often easier than filling up on quality food. But kinesiology professor Deborah Malden says everyone should be mindful of what they put into their bodies, because the old saying is true, we are what we eat.
A lot of kids don't realize that on a cellular level, the food is broken down and absorbed by you. So if you eat food that is not healthy for you, you're literally shortchanging yourself on a cellular level.
A good reminder that proper nutrition is a recipe for a healthy body and mind. Reporting for Falcon Weekly, I'm Zach Ivey.
So what can you do to make better choices at places like Moe's and Einstein's? An easy step is to go easy on sauces and cheese dip. Moe's Chipotle Ranch has 300 calories a serving, and an order of nachos has more than 1,000 calories. At Einstein's, instead of going for the Southwest Turkey Club, try the Chicken Caesar salad. It's only 320 calories. And remember, most restaurant chains, including Moe's and Einstein's, have nutritional information posted on their websites to make you make healthy choices. Another popular food chain is joining the move to offer healthier menu items. Subway says it will begin the transition of selling only antibiotic-free meats next year. The sandwich joint will begin offering antibiotic-free chicken and turkey in all 27,000 stores next year. Subway also pledged to do away with artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives in North American stores by the end of 2017. The company expects the full transition to be complete by 2025. Bacon, hot dog, and holiday ham lovers take note. A new study released by the World Health Organization's Cancer Group suggests processed meat can cause cancer. Red meat could also be a contributing factor in developing cancer. The study classifies processed meat as carcinogenic to humans with the potential to cause colon cancer. Health experts say red meat is also likely to cause cancer. The group's director says these findings support current public health recommendations to limit the amount of meat in your diet. However, meat industry groups blasted the report, calling it biased and misleading. If you're going trick-or-treating with a child who has food allergies, keep an eye out for homes with teal pumpkins on display. Food allergies affect 1 out of every 13 kids in America, so lots of houses give out safe treats like stickers, crayons, or small toys. Last year, the Food Allergy Research and Education Organization posted online that people with allergy-free treats should paint a pumpkin teal and put it outside so that other families would know. The post reached more than 2.5 million people in less than 3 days, and many parents are sharing it again now to remind trick-or-treating families. We all know what it's like to be stressed out, and it can be a hard thing to get rid of. Reporter Holly Furfer gives us tips on how to relax your mind and body during tough times.
It's a tough world out there, and for some people, all this upheaval can be upsetting. Many become stressed out, but psychologists say there are ways you can deal with anxiety that can keep depression away. Exercise. Doctors say the best thing to do is to keep busy and get the endorphins pumping, which can make anyone feel better. Watch your salt and sugar. Lowering both of these in your diet helps your whole body work better, including your brain. Get more vitamin D. Studies have shown that a lack of vitamin D can add to the blues. Best way to get vitamin D? From the sun. So get out for short periods of time and enjoy the outdoors. Hang with friends or loved ones. Being around people you like can make you a happier person. And relax. Try a yoga class or meditation. Research shows that even 15 minutes of meditation can cut down on stress. And if you find things do not get better, seek professional help. Depression is a serious condition, but it can be treated. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
Stress flyers in Los Angeles are finding a new way to relax at the airport. 40 registered therapy dogs and their owners at LAX are part of a program called PUPS, which stands for Pets Unstressing Passengers. Passengers say they enjoy spending time with the pooches before boarding their planes. Organizers say their goal is for at least half of the passengers to take off with a smile on their face. In women's health, doctors are now recommending that pregnant women not consume any alcohol during their pregnancy. Despite past recommendations, health experts say each baby can be affected differently. Drinking can lower the amount of blood flow to the fetus, reducing the amount of oxygen and nutrients the baby receives. There is an increased chance of heart and kidney issues, loss of vision and hearing, and cognitive issues such as ADHD. The baby is also more likely to be born with a smaller cerebellum, which affects balance and mobility. Less is apparently better than more when it comes to breast cancer screenings, according to new guidelines issued last week by the American Cancer Society. The organization says women should skip routine manual breast checks by doctors and start getting mammograms at the age of 45, not 40. According to ACS, mammograms can save lives, but they also have a high false positive rate. Critics of the new guidelines say the American Cancer Society's research is based on film mammograms, which are nearly obsolete in the U.S. The newer digital mammograms have a lower false positive rate and do a better job of detecting breast cancer. And that wraps up this week's health headlines. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Elizabeth Reinhardt.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Still ahead, a degree for free? See how one state plans to offer inmates a full ride to college.
And the switch to credit cards with security chips has scammers finding a new way to steal your identity and money. See what new scam you need to watch out for.
Plus, Toyota is recalling several of its popular cars. Find out which car parts they say are overheating. We'll be right back.
Hey. Hey, could we please watch something else?
Well, what do you want to watch?
The Montevallo For You YouTube channel. Look at all those videos. You can watch it any time of the day from anywhere.
Cat videos are still better.
Preposterous!
In consumer news, scammers are targeting people who have not received the updated chip credit cards.
The new chip-embedded cards are supposed to be more secure according to banks. However, a recent survey found that 60% of users have not received the new cards. Many scammers are sending fake emails telling users that they need to update their credit card account by confirmation of personal information. If you receive an email or phone call asking for your card number or other personal information, call the number on the back of your card to speak with someone from the company.
Toyota announced it's recalling 6.5 million cars globally to fix power window switches that can short circuit and catch fire. The company has received 11 reports of burnt door trim and 1 report of a customer who burned their hand. There have been no reported crashes directly caused by the problem. The affected cars were produced between 2005 and 2010 and include Toyota's Yaris, Corolla, Matrix, Camry, RAV4, Highlander, Tundra, and Sequoia models. The Scion XV and XD models are also included in the recall.
Domino's is pimping their ride. Receive your pizza in style. Domino's is launching 100 custom pizza delivery vehicles in 25 markets across the U.S. The Domino's DXP is a modification of the Chevy Spark. It has a warming oven and extra storage areas in the front and back. Up to 80 pizzas can be held in just one vehicle, but there is only room for one driver. Bigger cities like Boston, New Orleans, San Diego, and Detroit will be receiving their hot pizzas in this hot new ride. Back to the Future movie buffs will have another chance to buy a Pepsi Perfect.
Eager fans were excited when Pepsi announced it would sell the soda on October 21st, 2015. That's the same day movie character Marty McFly ordered the drink in Back to the Future Part 2. But a glitch caused the limited edition bottle to go on sale early, and it sold out before most people had a chance to get them. The whole thing caused a huge backlash on Twitter. Pepsi announced it will give fans another chance to order the iconic bottle on November 3rd at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. 6,500 more bottles will be sold at shop.pepsi.com for $20.15. Diet Coke sales are fizzling out. Sales dropped by 8% globally. Diet Coke has been struggling because of its use of the artificial sweetener aspartame. Pepsi responded to the public concern by removing the sweetener from Diet Pepsi. Experts say some of the Diet Coke's declines may also be because of growing popularity of Coke Zero.
The Pop-Tart makers over at Kellogg's are rolling out 5 new flavors.
It's fair to say at least one of them may seem pretty extreme.
For people who like bacon with their bacon, how about maple and bacon flavored Pop-Tart? It comes with salt and smoky flavored Crunchlets and will be available December, but just for a limited time.
Also out in December, limited edition frosted watermelon and frosted chocolatey caramel. Pink lemonade hits store shelves in April, and a limited edition frosting spring strawberry comes out early next year. These new strawberry Pop-Tarts come with a cartoon painted into the frosting.
Now it's time to take a look at the stories that got us talking.
We're joined by weather reporter Matt Haskins and buzz anchor Courtney Stroop. Courtney, what do you got for us this week?
Well, thousands of Connecticut inmates may soon be able to take college courses in prison for free. The state's largest public college system is asking the federal government to use taxpayer money to help convicts get college credit. Roger Susannon has the details.
If you try and walk a mile in a community college student's shoes, you might have a hard time keeping pace. They seem to have one thing in common: hectic lives.
I work 2 full-time jobs and I go to school full-time.
I'm a construction worker and I go to school, and I really don't have much time for anything else.
But the students we spoke with have very different opinions about a new proposal from the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities system that would allow inmates at 9 state prisons to take community college courses for free.
Everybody makes mistakes, you know, and like I said, education is for everybody. Everybody should have a fair everybody should just be able to have an education.
I do think it's a good thing for people to get a higher education. I don't personally feel as though I should have another tax added on.
CSCU leaders are asking the federal government to pay for the program. If the plan is approved, inmates would be able to enroll in job training courses and complete coursework on degree programs next fall.
They have a problem funding people who want to go to college, who have hard means. And yet we're going to fund people who got themselves in their own jams.
Education is power, and everybody has the right to education.
CSCU President Marco Jakian made the proposal in a letter to the U.S. Department of Education. The State Department of Corrections has endorsed the idea. Now, federal legislators will decide whether Connecticut inmates can become community college students.
It's pretty difficult, yeah, because, you know, you have to come to school, but you also have a whole life outside of school.
The federal government already earmarked some of the funding for prisoner coursework through a pilot program, which Connecticut's governor strongly supports. If approved, the prisoners will be given Pell Grants, which don't have to be repaid. So do you guys think this is a good idea?
I think it's a good idea. It's better for them to be productive and get an education as opposed to coming back out into society and tearing stuff up.
Well, on the other hand, I mean, there are a lot of people out here who don't have any criminal records and they don't get Pell Grants.
That's
and
true.
So there's definitely a couple of different ways to look at it, but then there are also people who have been convicted of things they didn't necessarily do. So
I think it has the potential to be something good,
definitely.
But I'd like to know more about it and know the details.
That's the thing. You know, I agree with what Laura said, but just there's a lot of people, you know, me personally, I won't be able to, you know, I'll have to pay back. So I mean, it's not like
We've all got lots of debt.
A lot of debt. So it's just, I don't know. I'd like to learn more about it.
I agree. Well, the new emojis for iPhone are finally here. Apple released more than 150 new emoji characters on Wednesday as part of its new operating system update. The new emojis include more happy faces, a religious building, a burrito, and even a middle finger. The organization had previously added skin tone options to several of the people emojis and is now deliberating on which emojis to add next year's. Some possible options include an avocado, a shark, and a selfie hand. So have you guys had a chance to get any of the new emojis?
No.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I mean, what else can you add for next year? I mean,
there's still plenty of stuff. I mean,
I feel like we're about to have only conversations involving emojis and no words.
It's a lot of fun creating a conversation out of emojis. I mean, you can be like, I went to the library. You put the car, the person, and the book, and I mean, it's perfect.
I've had times where I spent like forever trying to decipher an emoji text because I had no idea what it meant.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward
I'm
to
not okay with it.
using it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of usually like to text. I'm not
Yeah.
really big on the whole emoji thing. But hey,
You might as well play Pictionary, because that's all it is.
Absolutely. But hey, it's what
Yeah.
it's whatever.
I think it's cool.
Well, next, we have good news for chocolate lovers. Hershey's Kisses are getting bigger. Starting November 5th, Hershey's Kisses Deluxe will be available in the United States. The Deluxe Kisses are twice the size of regular Kisses and have crispy rice and a hazelnut center. They will be on sale through Valentine's Day and are available in packages of 3 and 4, as well as in gift boxes as large as 75. The Deluxe Kisses were first introduced in China 2 years ago, where they were a success. So do you all think that they'll be a hit here? Are y'all excited about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely gonna be a big hit for me.
I think that's awesome. The more chocolate, the better.
True.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
I like it. I mean, that's more chocolate, and I don't have to eat a whole bag of Hershey's Kisses.
Well,
I still might though. I don't know. They're so good.
The picture of them, they look kind of like the Ferrero Rocher, or however, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Rocher, I think.
Yeah. They look like they're packaged the same way, and they look like they're kind of constructed the same way. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well.
I cannot wait.
Well, thanks, Courtney. Now it's time for a check of our Montevallo forecast.
So, Matt, what can we expect for this week's weather?
Well, remnants of Hurricane Patricia gave some parts of Texas 20 inches of rain over the weekend. Weather watchers say tropical moisture from what's left of Hurricane Patricia brought heavy rain and flooding to Houston. Police and firefighters responded to almost 30 rescues in 24 hours related to the weather. The worst of it has moved east and out of the area. The flash flood threat is over, but now the winds are picking up. Gusts up to 50 miles an hour have been reported. On to local weather. Periods of rain are expected throughout the day, with daytime highs mostly in the upper 60s and low 70s. As you see right here, you have 69 in Birmingham, 71 in Clanton. On west in Tuscaloosa, you got high of 71. Demopolis, you got a high of 71. Moving on to east, you have Gaston, you got a high of 68. Anniston, high of 69. Down to Auburn, you got a high of 71. And Eufaula, 74 in Troy, high of 73. On to tonight, showers continue with lows in the upper 50s and mid 60s. Birmingham, you got a low of 61. Clanton, 64. Selma, 66. On west in Tuscaloosa, you got a low of 64. Demopolis, you got a low of 66. Moving on to east, low in Auburn is 62, and down towards Troy and Eufaula, you got lows of 66. Make sure you have your umbrellas and rain jackets this week, as rainfall amounts for Birmingham will exceed nearly 2 inches through Wednesday. Looking west to Tuscaloosa, we have close to 3 inches. Down towards Demopolis, you have close to 3 inches, mostly because of the remnants of the hurricane. They're going to be over there more towards West Alabama. On East Alabama, you won't have as much because it's really not in the path of the remnants of the hurricane. So in Gaston, you'll have close to 2 inches, but nothing really more than that. Let's take a look at the Montevallo forecast for the week. Tuesday, we have a high of 66 and a low of 61 with a 70% chance of showers. Wednesday, there's a high of 73, a low of 57, and 60% chance of showers. Thursday was partly cloudy with a high of 75 and a low of 51, 20%, and with a 20% chance of rain. On Friday, we're partly cloudy with a high of 76 and a low of 58. On to the weekend. Saturday, there's a high of 74 and a low of 60, mostly cloudy with just a 10% chance of rain. On Sunday, we have a high of 74 and a low of 61, with some scattered thunderstorms in the area with a 40% chance of rain.
Coming up, it was a big weekend for the women's cross-country team. See where they finished and which Falcon was honored at this year's PBC Championship.
And the West Blockton Tigers had a very special homecoming this year. See how the homecoming queen made this year special. Falcon Fever is next.
Between class, work, and everything else on your plate, there isn't a whole lot of time to watch the news.
And that's why here at Falcon Weekly, we focus on the stories that you need to hear.
So once a week, tune in for the news that impacts your life and matters to you.
From campus events to entertainment and health updates to the latest national and world news,
Falcon Weekly is your one-stop shop for information.
And you can always find information from us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Falcon Weekly. Find your news here.
Welcome to Falcon Fever. I'm Austin Gates with a look at this week's sports. Montevallo's women's cross-country team are conference champions for the second straight year, finishing 67 points in front of the other 12 teams participating. Sophomore runner Katie Nelson paced the Falcons, finishing second overall individually, posting a time of 22 minutes and 26 seconds. That's the 10th fastest 6K time in school history. Nelson was also named the Peach Belt Conference Runner of the Year after the race. The men's team did not fare as well in this year's PBC Championship race, finishing 9th as a team. The men's soccer team defeated West Alabama Sunday afternoon in a game that was pushed to overtime by 2 late goals. Montevallo scored in the 66th minute, only for West Alabama to tie the game with less than 10 minutes to play in regulation. Montevallo sealed the game on a penalty kick off the foot of Sebastian Kraus. The women's team dropped a conference match on the road at Georgia College Saturday, 2-0. Turning to the SEC football, the Alabama Crimson Tide moved up to number 7 in this week's AP poll after beating the Tennessee Volunteers in their 98th meeting on Saturday. The Vols took a 1-point lead late in the fourth quarter before Alabama put together a long scoring drive to take a 19-14 lead, and then forced a Tennessee turnover in the final seconds of the game to seal their 9th straight win in the rivalry. The Tide improved its record to 7-1 and 4-1 in the conference. And the Auburn Tigers traveled to Arkansas Saturday and played in one of the games of the year to this point in the season. The Tigers and the Razorbacks battled for 4 overtimes before the final whistle blew, with the Arkansas Razorbacks coming out on top by a score of 54-46. Auburn falls to 4-3 on the year and to 1-3 in the conference. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series was at Talladega this weekend for the CampingWorld.com 500 as the race to the chase is heating up. NASCAR is implementing a new playoff system this year that has some drivers asking, why fix what isn't broken? The race ended with the sport's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., eliminated from championship contention after finishing second and Joey Logano sitting in victory lane for the 3rd straight week. And finally this week, this homecoming queen pulled double duty in West Blockton. Jody Farnetti made an extra point in the Tigers' homecoming victory over Oak Grove. The varsity cheerleader / kicker was crowned homecoming queen earlier in the night. The score was extra special because her dad is the team's coach, and this was his final game before he retired. So what do you guys think about that? Your head cheerleader, homecoming queen, and you're the kicker.
That's she sounds like a boss. I think I need to take some lessons from her, maybe.
I mean, yeah, that's...
You gotta be pretty athletic to do all of that.
Yeah.
And still be homecoming queen, you're popular.
Yeah, she's popular, athletic, obviously, so she's got everything going for her.
Special that her dad was able to be with her through that whole time.
Absolutely.
That's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UM news from MassComm student reporters, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.